Call the meeting to order.
Welcome to Nixa City Hall. This video is going to provide you with an overview of how the City of Nixa conducts City Council meetings. We encourage everyone to attend and participate in City Council meetings. This is part of how democracy works at the local level, listening to the perspectives of subject matter experts, city residents, and other community members helps our elected leaders make more informed decisions. Before we start the meeting, let's review some of Council's rules of order. These rules help us make sure our meetings are orderly and efficient, while protecting the ability of everyone to have an opportunity to speak. Please be respectful of the person speaking and hold your own comments until it is your turn to speak. Presenters are invited by the council to provide information during the meeting to the council. These are informational presentations only, and nothing will be voted on at the time of the presentation. Presenters are not time limited. There are 2 times when all other visitors will be able to speak to council. The first is during the visitor section of the agenda, and the second is during any public hearing regarding an agenda item. During the visitor section, anyone may speak to council about any topic, whereas the public hearings regarding specific agenda items allow you to make comments for council to consider before they make a decision on that topic. Whether you wish to speak during any public hearing or the visitor section, the following rules of order will apply. 1. Only one person should speak at a time. Be respectful of the person speaking and wait to speak until it is your turn. 2. Anyone speaking must do so from the podium and speak into the microphone. 3. You must first state your name and provide your address in writing to the city clerk before beginning your comments. 4. All speakers will be given 5 minutes to make their comments to the council. The mayor or council may have additional questions for speakers after this 5-minute period. 5. All comments should be addressed to the mayor and council. 6. If you have questions about existing city processes, programs, or policies, or if you need assistance from staff on any issue, please contact City Hall during normal business hours and we'll be happy to assist you or answer any questions you may have at that time. The public hearing is designed to provide the public an opportunity to provide testimony and information to the mayor and council regarding the decisions they may be considering. Keep in mind this meeting will be recorded and live streamed with video and audio. Therefore, all comments relevant to this meeting must be spoken into a microphone, otherwise video viewers will not be able to hear you. In the case of a closed session or technical difficulties, some meetings or portions of meetings may not actually be recorded or streamed. The use of cell phones during council meetings is discouraged, so please silence all devices now. Thank you for watching, and thank you for engaging with the City of Nixa. The meeting will begin shortly.
Sean Lucas,
Here.
Jared Giddens,
Here.
Aaron Peterson,
Here.
Darlene Graham. Here.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Move on to the consent agenda. Would anyone like to remove any items from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion to approve.
So made. Second.
Roll call, please.
Jared Giddens,
Yes.
Aaron Peterson,
Yes.
Darlene Graham.
Yes.
Sean Lucas.
Yes. We'll move on to our service awards. We have 2 service awards this evening. Alina Webb, 5 years with the police department. Chief.
Apologize, I don't think that's working. Mayor, Council, Alina couldn't be here with us tonight, but I did want to make a few nice comments about her. She is celebrating her 5-year mark with us. She is a police clerk for us. She's one of 3, and she's the main clerk who handles our evidence. Clearly, that's one of the jobs in our department that takes a lot of skill, knowledge, and expertise, and a high degree of accuracy. And she's very good at her job. She does a great job with our evidence. And she's really committed to our police department. You'll often see her out at public events, so she doesn't just want to come to work and go home. She's committed to coming to our public events, helping out in any way she can. So we're really glad to have her, and we're thankful, and hopefully get to keep her for many, many years to come.
Wonderful. Thank you. Could just had you stand up there and just had like a roast thing for you. So our next service award, Joe Campbell, Police Chief, City of Nixa, 20 years. If Jimmy was here, he would have all kinds of good, you got any good stories? You got any good stories, Cindy? You got any good stories? You're the only person that's been here longer than Joe. Well, on behalf of the council and myself, I definitely want to thank Joe for, Chief Campbell, for all he has done for the city. When he became police chief, it was an incredibly easy decision to make when we promoted Jimmy up to city administrator. In that kind of time when we had a lot of things happening, and it was very important that we had a nice, easy transition. I think Joe has done an amazing job as chief and kept up the high quality and standards that we would expect from the Nixa Police. So thank you, Joe, for your 20 years of service. We'll move on to our proclamations. We have 2 proclamations again this week. Our first proclamation is for Public Power Week. Whereas we, the citizens of Nixa, place high value on local control over community services and therefore have chosen to operate a community-owned, locally controlled, non-for-profit electric utility which provides our homes, businesses, schools, and local government agencies with reliable, efficient, and cost-effective electricity. Whereas Nixa Electric Utility is a valuable community asset that contributes to the well-being of local citizens through energy efficiency, customer service, environmental protection, economic development, and safety awareness. And whereas Nixa Electric Utility has also taken an additional stewardship of our community's infrastructure through stringent maintenance and operations and has received national recognition as an American Public Power Association reliable public power provider. Say that 3 times fast. And whereas Nixa Electric Utility is a dependable and trustworthy institution whose local operation provides many customer protections and continues to make our community a better place to live and work and contributes to protecting the global environment. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Nixa Electric Utility will continue to work to bring low-cost, safe, reliable electricity to community homes and businesses and continue to search out new low-cost alternative renewable power sources to serve all the citizens of Nixa. And be it further resolved that the week of October 2nd through the 8th will be designated Public Power Week to recognize Nixa Electric Utility for its contributions to the community and to educate customer owners, policymakers, and employees on the benefits of public power, along with members of the Missouri Public Utility Alliance and more than 2,000 other public-owned systems across the United States. Therefore, on my hand, I picked the seal of the city this day and this time. There we go. It's a little different language than the others. All right. You want to take pictures? Doug, Brian? I'll make Brian. And our second proclamation this evening. Whereas October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and whereas breast cancer is the most common cancer in women in the world, in 2020, there were 2.3 million women diagnosed with breast cancer, and whereas in 2022, there will be an estimated 339,250 new cases of breast cancer to be diagnosed in women in the U.S., and whereas in 2022, more than 43,250 women in the U.S. will die of breast cancer, and whereas from 2013 to 2018, the death rate went down by 1% per year. These decreases are believed to be the result of finding breast cancer earlier through screening and increased awareness, as well as better treatments. And whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month serves as an opportunity to increase awareness of this disease, now, therefore, I, Brian Steele, Mayor for the City of Nixa, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2022 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we have Allison from the Breast Cancer Foundation of the Ozarks here to accept the proclamation. And tell us a little bit about the Breast Cancer Foundation. You just want to come up now?
Not as tall. My name is Allison Tuckness, and I am the Chief Operating Officer at Breast Cancer Foundation of the Ozarks, and also a proud Nixa resident. I'm grateful to be here today to represent our organization. I'm even more grateful to the Nixa City Council for taking the time to bring awareness to this devastating disease. In terms of years of life lost, the leading cause of premature death in U.S. women is breast cancer. October has become a month awash in pink because 1 in 8 women and 1 in 852 men will experience a breast cancer diagnosis in their lifetime. Those statistics are staggering, but there is hope. The widespread practice of annual screening mammograms have made a significant impact of catching disease early and increasing survival rates. The pandemic has meant many of us have gotten out of the annual habit, and we urge women 40 and over to return to their annual mammograms. To make it a little easier, BCFO has a free screening mammogram program for uninsured and underinsured women through Southwest Missouri. For breast cancer patients, BCFO provides non-medical financial help to families in breast cancer treatment. This means those families don't have to worry about whether the mortgage will be paid, whether there's enough gas in the car, whether the kids are taken care of, or their utilities are paid. Instead, they can focus on healing. Efforts like this proclamation, as well as the grants we have received from the Nixa Community Foundation and Nixa ARPA allocations, are more than just financial support. They are a clear message to our survivors in the fight of their lives that their neighbors support and cheer them on. Thank you for the opportunity to represent them in saying a sincere and heartfelt thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much. And we'll move on to our visitor section. Becca.
Ron Sanders.
Good evening. My name is Ron Sanders. Tonight's a really good night to talk about representation. One of our founding principles of our governments are elected representatives who are chosen by the people to come and represent our values, our ideas, and what we expect to see in our community and our society. A lot of people forget that once they leave the ballot box. As soon as they walk out of the polling location, they go about their normal business and leave their representatives to do whatever they want. And a lot of times, without some guidance from the podium here, representatives might not know exactly what's expected of our fellow citizens. Here in Nixa, I have learned a good bit about the values that most people have. And I think one of the biggest things that I've noticed is people here, just like people in most places, put family first. The family, people's families, extended families, are one of the most important parts of their lives. And everything that revolves around our government and everything that revolves around our community should always be putting the parents and the families' interests and ideas first. That is one of the most important things that drives our society, is representing people's families and representing the parents and the children. That's why we have such a fabulous school here. Everybody wants to come, everybody wants to put their kids here, and I would say the overwhelming majority of everyone here is a part of a family with children. And that is one of the most important parts of our society, of our community. One of the primary responsibilities of government is to create the environment in which everybody lives. We create this environment by passing ordinances, by having policies, and by creating certain services that may not be able to be provided by the private sector in order to facilitate the environment that we live in to be conducive to having a great family, to having great education, to growing old and loving your community and loving all the activities within it. If we do not know our people, if we don't know our citizens, how would we be able to represent those citizens? That would be your job. Your job is to get around, and I know a lot of you guys do a very good job doing it. You got to get to know everybody, maybe not every single person, but everybody in general, and understand their expectations of you as the representative, and understand the expectations of the government. Now, I'll put this on the people of Nixa, everybody that's watching this and everybody that may watch this in the future. It is your responsibility to occasionally come up here or occasionally talk to your representative and let them know what your expectations are. Let them know what your feelings are. Let them know how you view your community. Because one or two people constantly coming up here to the podium cannot represent the voice of everyone. And I would never want to claim to do that, but it seems kind of lonely at times up here, and I would love to see many more citizens come in here and speak and let y'all know how they feel about the community, good and bad. I would like to hear more good, but, you know, if there's something not right, then by all means, get down here and use your 5 minutes. Because I know everybody here on the podium, everybody here on the days would appreciate hearing your voice. Because without everybody else's voice, you're left without much guidance. And 5 or 6 representative city council members do not have the time of the day to go knock on 5,000 or 6,000 people's doors to find out what you're thinking. So I appreciate what y'all do. And at the same time, I think that the citizens need to step up and start letting y'all know what they expect a little bit more. Ultimately, we need to focus on the families and the people, and the government needs to focus on setting the environment to be the most conducive for the best life living here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders.
Chris Russell.
Before I give you an update on the citywide garage sale, again, Chris Russell, Nixa Chamber of Commerce, just want to give my thoughts and prayers to our Nixa Police Department and Christian County Sheriff's Department and the other officers involved in this weekend. And I just want to kind of say thank you for all you do in protecting us. And I really appreciate our Nixa Police and just everybody. You know that. So thank you, Chief. Appreciate that. Okay, citywide garage sale, though. That was fun. I just wanted to say on behalf of the Nixa Chamber, Mayor and Council and staff, too, thank you so much for allowing us to do that this year. It was a huge hit. I was surprised. And, you know, there was a lot of people asking for that second weekend, and it just made sense to me. I was like, it's a no-brainer, really. You know, and I haven't had a chance to follow up with Lieutenant Fleetwood about traffic and challenges, but I think everything went fairly good. I didn't see anything major over the weekend involving the garage sale. And response was huge and very successful, and lots of positive comments thanking us for doing this. I asked in one of my polls if they would like to see it again. They said absolutely. So I know we changed the ordinances. That's where I wanted to thank the staff for scrambling at the last minute to get that changed and updated. I appreciate that. And then, of course, you guys voting on it. Economically, I know it had a major impact. Was it as big as the spring? We had more garage sales register on our map than we did in the spring. I had a little higher stats on the web traffic. I had about 8,000 visitors compared to 12 or 13 in the spring. But again, very first time doing this event, so people didn't know to look for it. And I think it'll continue to grow and be a great tradition for us here in Nixa. The weekend settles in between some other events, so I'm going to probably keep it on that last weekend in September. I don't see any challenges or changes why we would do that. But again, we did a good thing. I know our businesses were very busy this weekend. I know a lot of the restaurants. I happened to speak to Al on Big Al's Subs, and he said he was overran with business on Friday and Saturday, so I haven't checked with some of the other business owners, but that's what we wanted. We wanted people shopping. I popped in today and talked to the new owner of the Maze, which is a new flea market here in town there on the south side, and he said they were very busy as well on that day. People just out and about, and once they figured out they'd hit enough garage sales, they were hitting the flea markets as well. So really a win-win for our community, and I just wanted to say thank you, guys, and didn't know. Oh, and the other fun fact about it is that when I look at the Experience Nixa app, and then they were going to the map, they were going to the garage sale information, the next top hits were business directories and restaurants and those kind of things as well. So a lot of great traffic for our community this weekend, and as long as there's no challenges, which I don't think there was safety-wise, I think we're in good shape to continue this new tradition. Does that sound good? All right, that's all I wanted to give you an update on the garage sale. Next month, I'll be coming in here with a full update, probably as a visitor possibly, our presentation on the Nixa Chamber of Commerce and Welcome Center. Sound good? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Russell.
I don't have any more.
We don't have any more. Okay, that's what I was waiting for.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. I thought you were wanting me to talk on the next one. I was
Oh,
like,
no,
well,
yes,
me?
we'll move on to our filling of council vacancies. Did you have something for this? Oh, okay, well, good. Oh, no, okay, yeah, that's great, okay. Got a little confusion there, all right. All right, we'll move on to our filling of the vacancies for Council District 1 and 3. I want to thank everyone again who came out and spoke last week, and came back again this week, and the time you invested to come and talk to us and to present why you thought you should be on city council. And I want to thank council as well for considering all of those people, and we will move on to the filling of the vacancies. We'll start with District 1. Would anyone like to make a nomination for District 1?
So I would like to. I've actually received multiple phone calls in support of Mr. Ogden, and I will I have met with him. I've reviewed all the other ones, and a couple things that are really important to me as far as having someone serving alongside me is, one, no agenda. That was kind of good. Now, kind of take that back. He does have one little agenda, but it's very beneficial to the city, and it kind of fits in with this being, Public Power Week. He has a very good background with power and utilities, public works, which is huge going forward with everything that's going on in the current kind of landscape within power. He is a very community involved individual. That's actually kind of one of the ways I met him. Currently serves on planning and zoning, which is very beneficial. He understands the processes and procedures. I think he will be great for District 1. So that is why I would like to nominate Matt Ogden for District 1.
Do we have any other nominations?
I'll second that nomination.
Anyone else? All right, any other comments? I also received several people who wanted to reach out, including the president of the OTC Richwood Valley, where Mr. Ogden works, and was very complimentary of him and the program that he has built there, and the work that he does there as well. So I think he'd be a great addition. All right, we have a first and a second. You want to do roll call? Is that what you want to do? Okay.
Sean Lucas,
Yes.
Jared Giddens,
Yes.
Aaron Peterson,
Yes.
Darlene Graham.
Yes.
All right, we'll move on to District 3. Would anyone like to make a nomination for District 3?
I would. There were a lot of people that applied for this, and it was really interesting to read through everybody's resumes because it indicated such a high degree of people that are wanting to be involved in city government, and I really appreciated that. When it came down to it all, I tried to be very, I guess, picky with what I was looking at, and I'd really like to nominate, and I'm going to butcher your last name, I'm so sorry, because as a teacher, I hated to do that, so you're going to have to pronounce it for me. Seth Balaj? Close?
Balaj.
Balaj,
He lost
sorry.
his voice today.
Long A, okay. And I'll tell you why. He mentioned the fact that he thought it would be a great honor to be on this council and to be able to help provide leadership and direction as we continue to grow, and that's something that's very important. He mentioned he's served on several boards. He has experience in parliamentary procedure, which is something that we really have tried to keep as a focus up here because we can't just spout off. There are procedures to follow, and they get very picky sometimes, but it's still something that we have to be aware of when we're doing a position like this. He's been involved in youth sports and coaching, volunteering in the public schools, so he's been around a lot of people that are involved in those kind of things in the city. The thing that impressed me a lot was the fact he says he has extensive experience within higher education and administration, regulatory affairs, and compliance. And that's a lot of the things that we deal with on city council. And if you don't know how to deal with those, it takes a lot of learning. I sat here, I think, the first year and just listened to a lot of things because I wasn't familiar with them, but we've got someone looking at this who's got those things. His resume has executive level positions with large organizations. He's been involved in financial and strategic decision planning, and I think that's something that we really could use more of in what we're doing because we have to make these decisions all the time, especially with the strategic plans. So I would like to nominate Seth Balaj.
Do we have any other nominations? Or a second for Ms. Graham's nomination?
I'll second the nomination.
Any further nominations? Any further comments? Roll call, please.
Jared Giddens,
Yes.
Aaron Peterson,
Yes.
Darlene Graham,
Yes.
Sean Lucas.
Yes.
All right, we will move on to the swearing in. That I'm gonna leave up to Becky. But again, I want to thank all of you that applied. I think we had a great group of candidates, and I know I saw many people that had written down overqualified on several of the candidates. And so I want to, again, thank all of you. With Mr. Ogden coming to City Council, we will now have an opening on planning and zoning. So if anyone of you is interested in that position, please let Becca know, and we will probably appoint that person at the next meeting.
You're getting instructions.
No, I didn't know whether.
Down at the end. Yeah. Amy's spot, yes. Yeah, there's no rest for the weary. You get straight to making decisions tonight. That's how we roll. Congratulations. So we'll expect extensive remarks from both of you on all the upcoming ordinances and resolutions that we're going to go through. All right, we will move on to our ordinances section. First reading, whenever you get ready, Becca. I'm in no hurry.
First reading, Council Bill Number 2022-094, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa amending the 2022 annual budget to appropriate funds for the repair of a water main break at Highway 14 and Gregg Road.
Travis.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we're bringing for your consideration an ordinance to provide for a budget amendment resulting from an unforeseen circumstance that happened on June 23rd. We had an 8-inch water main that is underneath the Gregg Road and Highway 14 intersection that sprung a leak overnight. We were forced to go in, cut the street out, and make the needed repair to get the water line back in service. However, that necessitates that we come back and work with MoDOT to provide the repair to meet their standards for the highway and to get that surface back up to par and in a condition that they want that roadway in. Following the repair that we made to the main break, we did do temporary patchwork out there at the intersection to hold it over until we could formally go out for bid and get a contractor lined up to do the needed repair. MoDOT did provide the specs that we had to work under regarding the specifications for the repair as well as the time of day when it will be done. It is to be night work, which does elevate the cost of that. Unfortunately, upon bidding it out, we only received one bid for $127,000. Because we didn't have a comparative with another contractor, we did do an internal review to check with the amount that would be needed to do the repair, and we came up with a figure that was right around $100,000. So we do feel that the contractor that made the bid at D&E Plumbing at $127,000 is within the project scope that was outlined by MoDOT and the dollars needed to make that needed repair. So we are forwarding a recommendation for approval of the budget amendment in order to allow for the city to contract with D&E Plumbing to make those needed repairs to the Highway 14 and Gregg Road intersection. I know this is a little different than normal, so I'd be happy to try to answer any questions you have.
Yeah, how much of the road is getting repaired?
We have a section of the eastbound lane as well as the right-hand conversion to southbound on Gregg Road that we had to get into. Now, where the repair gets costly is that not only do we have to do night work, there's full-depth concrete that MoDOT's requiring to restabilize the surface because we cut out certain areas of it, and there's also signal looping that has to be replaced. That's the looping that you drive up and the magnets actually trigger the lights. So with all three of those elements involved, it just elevates the cost dramatically.
So on the eastbound, will that also fix to the west of the intersection?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you talking about that area where there was that big hump?
Yeah. Where
That
cars
was-
are
that was-
bottoming out without even.
Yes, we've tried to do that. That was part of the temporary repair that we made while we could work with MoDOT and get all this bid out. So yes, that is a result of just a temporary patch that was put in at the end of June. But of course, this repair will include that whole area.
And then the southbound on Gregg for about probably the first, 100 yards south of 14. That's the area that's supposed to smooth out eventually. Is that correct? Okay, because it's still just rough as all get out.
Yeah, that's not part of the scope of this work. This work is actually
Okay.
where we
'Cause
made
that
the
was
physical cut.
Previous thing that was done,
That's a
correct?
micro seal.
Yeah, that was a micro paving. Yes.
Okay.
That's a separate issue from this.
Okay. But
That-
it is a known issue, like is anything ever gonna happen with it?
We've been kind of keeping tabs on it. Of
Okay.
course, we did have that micro paving done close to 4 weeks ago. And,
Okay.
and we're watching it to make sure it does smooth out and
Okay.
the product acts as it should. It's not paving, so it'll never be completely smooth because it is a micro paved surface, but we are monitoring it to make sure we get the product that we paid for.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
And this will be taken from the water department?
Yes, it'll be a budget
funding.
amendment to the water department, correct.
Any other questions?
You got anything, Matt?
Okay. You're good? All right. Thank you, Travis.
All right, thank you.
We will open up the public hearing if anyone would like to speak to this item.
Ron Sanders, got a couple questions. I don't know if I'd get the answers right now, but that whole intersection, is it even a year old now? And is it possible that there were mistakes made during the reconstruction of that intersection that may have compromised that? That, you know, shoddy workmanship, improper sub layers and everything? Is it possible to find out if that happened or if there's any warranty for the work that was done in that?
Do we know what the cause of the original water break was?
The water main break we're confident it's not resulting from the work that MoDOT did to the road. The depth of the water line is outside the scope of the work that they did. It's just an unfortunate circumstance. It's a water line that has some age on it, and it just had a bad spot in it, and it ended up having a rupture, and we had to go in and make that repair.
Thank you, Travis. Oh, you good? Ron? Okay. We'll leave the public hearing open if anyone else would like to speak to this. And close the public hearing. Any further discussion? No. All right, move on to the next one.
First reading Council Bill number 2022-095, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa amending Chapter 2, Article 1 of the Nixa City Code by repealing Section 2-4 in its entirety.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, and welcome new members of council. My name is Nick Woodman. I'm the city attorney for the City of Nixa, and I'll be presenting Council Bill 2022-095, which I'm categorizing as what we call a housekeeping item. This is related to City Council's decision to follow state law instead of our local ordinance on the question of the filing of annual financial disclosure statements. Financial disclosure statements are required to be filed annually with the Missouri Ethics Commission for certain city officials, the mayor, council members, and some city officers. State law allows for two approaches to annual financial disclosure statements. Cities can either follow state law or they can choose to adopt their own ordinance, which is historically what the City of Nixa has done. If the city elects to adopt its own ordinance, then the ordinance is to be readopted every 2 years, which is what brought this to the City Council's consideration on August 22nd of 2022. At that time, the council decided to not renew the city's ordinance and instead follow state law on the question. So this ordinance, though, the ordinance that required financial disclosure statements is still on the books, so to speak. So this bill, if approved, would complete the council's decision regarding financial disclosure statements and do the housekeeping work of removing it from the city code. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Any questions? Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll open up the public hearing. And close the public hearing. Any further discussion? No. We'll move on to the second readings.
Second reading Council Bill number 2022-091, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa authorizing the city administrator to execute a contract with Schaefer and Hines Incorporated for engineering services related to improvements to Main Street from Tracker Road to Highway CC.
This request for authorization to have the city administrator execute a contract with Schaefer and Hines Incorporated for engineering work related to the North Main improvement project that we have. As a recap, this is the stretch of Main Street from Tracker Road north to CC. It includes engineering and rehabilitation of the road to provide 3 lanes of traffic, similar to what you see from Aldersgate to Tracker Road. We want to extend those improvements north to the CC intersection. In conjunction with that, MoDOT is also doing a scoping project for improvements to the intersection, and our hope is to ultimately partner with them and have one project that hopefully timing-wise works out to where we have them both coordinated at the same time. We did review RFQs for the project, and selection was Schaefer and Hines Incorporated. They did provide a cost for the design work at $195,257.21, which is within the budget that was established for the engineering on this job. We initially estimated and budgeted for $245,000 for engineering, so they did come in lower than the engineering cost. And finally, the improvements are provided with an 80% reimbursement from federal highway, so 80% of the cost of the engineering will be reimbursed through our STP funds. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Questions?
Does that include shaving down that hill?
Yes, that design will absolutely improve those sight lines on North Main Street, which we're estimating will be approximately 6 to 8 feet of the hillside that will be taken out. That's part of what Schaefer and Hines will be doing through the design, is actually looking at that and seeing what we need to do to improve those sight lines.
Ooh, I like that. I know. Ooh, man, that's nice, yeah. Cool. Any other questions? Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
And we'll open up the public hearing.
I have one question.
Sure.
Could have done it privately, but we'll get, this is for Travis. Travis, how long is this timeline, and how much will it disrupt traffic when they finally start this project, do you anticipate?
I'll ask you the question, Chris, just ask me, Travis. That's all right. Yes, yeah. You ask that to me, I'll ask that to Travis.
We're looking at hopefully having those improvements made in 2024. Of course, engineering will take approximately 6 to 8 months. From there, we have to move into the submittal and ultimate approval from MoDOT in order to move to the next step, which is construction. Construction window will probably be a 180-day to 200-day process as far as construction goes. This project will be conducted with traffic movement allowed, so in other words, we will not be closing the roadway. There will be lane closures throughout, but it'll take there'll be a construction window with and unfortunately, there will be delays, there will be issues, it's unavoidable, but at this point, we are not anticipating a road closure. The work will be done with traffic movement.
All right. Thank you, Travis. And we'll leave open the public hearing. And close the public hearing. Any further discussion? I'll accept a motion to approve.
So made. Second.
Roll call, please.
Aaron Peterson,
Yes.
Darlene Graham,
Yes.
Matt Ogden,
Yes.
Seth Baylog,
Yes.
Sean Lucas,
Yes.
Jared Giddens.
Yes.
Sounds worse than you.
Like Bane down there.
We'll move on to the next one.
Second reading Council Bill number 2022-092, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa authorizing the mayor to execute an intergovernmental agreement for a Christian County hotel market and financial feasibility study.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As Becca said, this ordinance authorizes the city to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Ozark and Christian County for a hotel market and financial feasibility study. Nix's portion of this study is $13,000. Back in August, Council approved an ordinance to amend the budget to fund this study. Staff recommends approval. If you have any questions, let me know.
Any questions? Nope. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
And we'll open the public hearing. Close the public hearing. Any further discussion? Motion to approve.
So made.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Darlene Graham,
Yes.
Matt Ogden,
Yes.
Seth Baylog,
Yes.
Sean Lucas,
Yes.
Jared Giddens,
Yes.
Aaron Peterson.
Yes.
Let's let you do one finger for yes, 2 fingers for no.
Just call. Wink if it's a yes.
And one more.
Second reading Council Bill number 2022-093, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Nixa amending the 2022 annual budget to appropriate funds for the city's portion of the feasibility study for regional broadband.
Good evening. As Ms. Becca just said, that this will be for the Regional Broadband Initiative Board to conduct a rural broadband network feasibility study. This is a shared cost that we will have with that group. The total cost for the feasibility study with the broadband group is $291,860. We have a 10.62% share of that, or that's our pro rata share, based on, and how we based that was across all the jurisdictions, the number of potential hookups or the number of housing. So in our case, it came out to 10.62%, and as far as dollars, approximately $31,000 is what we're asking for the budget amendment.
Any questions? So this is for a feasibility study for all the suburban communities around Springfield, plus Greene County and Christian County, right?
Thank you. I should have done a better job with that. That's good.
So, which they'll provide us then information on the feasibility of having, or building our own, or having some sort of system, whatever that looks like in their feasibility
A
study.
combined fiber study.
Yeah, some sort of high-speed fiber system to the home here. Okay. All right, thank you, Doug. And we'll open up the public hearing.
It's me again. When we're talking about broadband, we're talking about internet service, right?
Correct.
More like a backbone coming into the community, or internet service?
This is service to the home similar to what SpringNet does in Springfield. Or
Okay.
it's called SpringNet, right?
And is this going to be a government thing, where the government's going to start providing internet access to homes in the city?
I do not believe so. That is the way it's laid out, is it's figuring out, so SpringNet is a kind of a public-private, it's privately run and privately owned, but the city finance part of the infrastructure of it. So probably something along that line.
We have, well, Optimum, which used to be Suddenlink, and then CenturyLink. I don't know, is CenturyLink here or not?
No.
Optum is, yeah.
Optimum is.
And AT&T.
AT&T has their service here. There's another high-speed internet service. Are we looking to bring in more for more competition?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And what's the big purpose of it? Is it to try to boost fiber into the city?
Correct.
So, if we get more people active in, competing and everything, then we can bring down the cost and introduce the infrastructure from the private sector, and they're going to be driving all the costs to get it into the city, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
One of the other issues is, you actually the prime example is Houston, Missouri, where I think it's AT&T, right? I think, we'll just use them as an example. They say that they provide service there, but they provide service to Walmart and one other big person, but no homes. And so the main goal in something like this is those rural areas that are just outside the city, like my neighborhood, you can get AT&T or whatever the new one is. Optimum, yeah. And from what I understand, it's not very optimum, but then, so in my neighborhood, you're stuck with those two, so there's no competition. There's no competition on customer service or pricing or anything like that. So throwing in something like this will also help the rural areas outside and kind of might even bring down my cost that continues to raise and everyone else that's up here. So this is something that started, I think conversations on this started back years ago. So I think it's good for us and everyone else around here. And it became a bigger issue whenever the pandemic hit and every single person was on their internet. Every kid was on the internet, and speeds just kind of slowed down. So I think it's good.
Was I still in the public hearing? Okay. Yes.
Sorry about that.
Leave the public hearing open?
That was a long answer to Ron's question.
That was wrong, yeah, that's fine. And we'll close the public hearing. Any further discussion beyond what Mr. Giddens has already done?
And this is being utilized, or being funded through the utilization of ARPA funds, correct?
Is that right?
Yep.
Wasn't sure what we ended up with on that, but yes, I think so. That's one of the items specifically listed in the ARPA funding bill from the federal government is for broadband expansion, so that is. Any other questions? All right, we will, did I close the public hearing? I think I did, okay, all right. No further discussion, I'll accept the motion to approve,
So made.
Second?
and roll call, please.
Matt Ogden,
Yes.
Seth Baylor,
Yes.
Sean Lucas,
Yes.
Jared Giddens,
Yes.
Aaron Peterson,
Yes.
Darlene Graham.
Yes.
All right, we'll move on to the resolutions.
Resolution number 2022-095, a resolution of the Council of the City of Nixa authorizing the city administrator to execute a contract with Invoice Cloud Incorporated for payment processing services.
Good evening, everyone. For the new members, my name's Jennifer Evans. I'm the Director of Finance, and I'm before you to present resolution to enter a contract with Invoice Cloud. In May of this year, we entered into a contract with BS&A, and they are going to provide our new Enterprise Resource Planning, or ERP system. And they use a third-party vendor to use for their payment processing, and it's Invoice Cloud. So as we were looking ahead, we started investigating, and we are presenting this to you tonight ahead of our conversion with BS&A because there's a lot of good services that Invoice Cloud provides that we want to go ahead and jump on that train and get going with it. They take many different payment methods just beyond credit and debit cards. We can take PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Pay by Text. We don't offer that now. E-check. There's a lot of different.
Crypto, wasn't crypto? Crypto, I think, was one of them.
I
think you
don't
can play
know
with
that.
crypto, it's weird.
And also non-invoice payments, which means sort of like a shopping cart situation. You can pay for your building permit and your utility bill all in one shopping cart, where we don't have that integration right now. So it's going to be a really great service to our customers. And so that's why we were kind of excited about it and wanted to go ahead and partner with them now. There won't be any cost associated with when we go ahead and do convert with BS&A, which will be the third week in June next year. We've got our calendar set. We also looked at a fully absorbed pricing model with it. Right now, we have a hybrid model where the city pays for the credit card processing fees, but our customers do have to pay $1.25 every time they do a payment. And so we wanted to absorb all of that so that our customers are better served and encourage more online payments and things like that. So we're not going to be charging the customers that fee. We're going to absorb it. And so because we are absorbing the fees, we get a better processing fee rate, a utility rate. So our cost is really only going to go up about $1,000, a little over $1,000 per month, more than what we pay now for our credit card processing. And so let's see, what else do I want to tell you? I think that's about it. It's going to be, I think, a really great program. They have a very robust online presence where they try to get customers to enroll in paperless billing and automatic payments, and they have a good rate of return on that. And so with all of that being said, it's our recommendation that you support this resolution, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions?
So will customers still have to navigate to it through a link like do currently?
Yes, but from what I'm told, it's very user-friendly and more intuitive than what we have now, and is set up to guide customers to the right thing, and it's easy to use. But yes, it will be, when we convert with BS&A, it will be a real-time linked system. With Tyler, the customer can log in and see their payment history through the Invoice Cloud portal, but it will be a batched payment, so I don't want to get into the weeds on all this. But no, it will be easy to use. It's set up to be very user-friendly. So.
I have a question, sorry. How will you support people So if they don't know how to do that, do we have staff to help?
Yes, there is a feature that's also very good with this where our staff can emulate the customer so they can get in and see what the customer is seeing. A lot of times that's the problem, we don't know what they're looking at. And so this way, our staff will be able to get in and see what the customer is seeing and help them, guide them through the process. So, yeah.
Thank you.
And actually have the option to take a payment through customer service rather than the website, is that correct?
Yes. Mhm. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of changes coming with our new website and with this new system and with our new software. So customers, we're going to have to work really hard with the communications department to make sure customers understand, and be patient and bear with us as we do these new things. But I think in the long run, customers are going to be very satisfied with the innovation that this kind of a thing will present.
Do they have a canned, how-to tutorial, or is it something that we could possibly make?
Yeah, we could certainly look into
Put
that.
on there.
I'm not sure if they
Quick
do
video.
have one.
I think Macy just gave me a very bad look, but yeah.
I will tell you this, the city that I live in just switched to Invoice Cloud, and they told me that there's a customer who just about every month, they would have to walk him through paying online. And so when I called to ask them about this service, did they like it? They said, even Mr. Smith, was able to get on there and do it, and he didn't have to call us. So it's very easy to use. So
Good deal.
And how soon will this be implemented if we pass it?
I think that they said it will take 2 to 3 months to get everything set up and, hooked into our system, and they make it very personal to us, our the way we have things configured and set up. So it takes 8 to 12 weeks.
Good deal.
Any other questions? Thank you, Jennifer. And we'll open up a public hearing on this.
Again. One aspect of this is the $1,000, I think, is very well spent. People don't want to pay $1.25 or $1.50 to alleviate you of having to process all the checks and do all the management of all the manual processes. That's why you have such a poor participation rate. I think as soon as you get rid of that fee, I think a lot more people will end up using their online. I think that you'll save a lot of money as far as management processes and work in the office, separating checks and doing all that stuff, because the number of checks will go down, the number of all that manual labor will go down. I think a lot of people don't think about that. They're just like, I don't want to pay $1,000 a month. We'll just put it on 10 or 15,000 people, and let them pay $10,000 or $15,000 a month to the service company. So now for $1,000, we're putting $10,000 or $15,000 back in the deposit, into the pockets of everybody else. So that's a good thing. Just wanted to recognize that.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. And we'll leave open the public hearing. And close the public hearing. Any further? Yeah, I think we had tried to do that before, get rid of the $1.25 in the past, but maybe Donna didn't like that idea, and so. But I've always liked that idea, and Mr. Lyles brought it up. I thought it was a great idea.
I have one more question.
Yep.
Have we conducted a vendor risk assessment on these individuals, given this is financial data?
So this is a very well-established vendor, and they do partner with BSNA, which is the software we're going to be converting to. But that is one of the highlights that I was interested in, is that they do their own PCI compliance. So I don't have to do that. Right now, I'm the one who has to manage that with our different processors. We have a couple of different processors. And I'm not an IT person, and I'm not well-versed in a lot of that stuff, so I think it's best to hand that off to an expert. So that was one of the things that I was most excited about, is they take care of all of the PCI compliance and the encryption of the financial data and all of that stuff.
And do we know if they've had any material findings on their last certification? I mean, I think
No.
that's great.
I don't know that information, but I'm sure I could find out.
And so will this take us from 2 providers to 1 now?
Yes.
Oh, good, okay.
Yes.
That was another
Well,
problem.
the only other processor we will have is Parks, because Parks is their own.
Because they have their own integrated system.
Yeah.
Okay. Someday though, Matt, someday. Thank you, Jennifer. And I close the public hearing? I think I close the public hearing. And any other questions or discussion? No? Accept a motion to approve.
So made.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Thank you very much. All right, that is all the business we had on our agenda for this evening. Anything else from staff?
That didn't work.
I don't think so, for some reason.
Oh, those are new mics.
No.
That's not too bad.
Just a couple of things, Mayor and Council. I wanted to let you know that we do have a crew of 4 headed down for mutual aid tomorrow in Florida. So we'll have those guys headed out. Again, Florida and Louisiana seem to request those of us from Missouri. We've been down there a number of times, and so I think the trucks know their way down there anymore. So, but we'll be heading down there tomorrow evening here in this room from 4:30 to 6. MoDOT is holding a public meeting for their scoping for how to handle the intersection at Main Street and CC. If you'd like to come by and see, some renditions of that, maybe drop some comments, ask some questions, they'll be doing that here tomorrow evening. We did close on the Tuscany Hills purchase today, so we are now proud owners of that water and sewer system. And then one of the other things I wanted to mention as a follow-up back to the RBI, one of the things that this group will study is some of those customers. There will probably be a whole what we would do is we're probably going to be more of an infrastructure owner, more like a landlord, and we would lease out dark fiber or lease out fiber to AT&T or fill the gaps with Optimum in certain areas of town, that type of thing, where we would do that as a lease and wouldn't necessarily be an internet provider ourselves. So they'll look through all of those options. That's part of what that study is all about. So that's all I had.
Thank you, Doug. Anybody else? Drew?
I just want you to know that we're going to be switching over to the new website, the new look website, by the end of the week. And we're very excited about that. We obviously have been working hard to redesign the new website of nixa.com to be more user-friendly, to be able to provide us more opportunities to eliminate paperwork and make things more kind of mobile-friendly, where you can kind of get city processes done from your phone, and also to prioritize government transparency and making more things easily found and navigable and understandable to the common citizen through our website. So be aware that when the website launches on Friday, it will not be kind of all complete all at once, as Jennifer was talking about with the transition to Invoice Cloud and BSNA. This is going to be kind of a phased rollout over the course of about a year until BSNA is online, and then we can kind of start integrating the BSNA software with the website. And that's where really cool things start to happen with the website. So it'll kind of happen in phases. So you'll see the new look starting at the end of this week, but not everything is going to be running smoothly yet. It's going to take a while for us to kind of get each piece kind of working as designed and as intended, but we've taken there's a lot of tools that will be exciting to use on day one. Things like, we're going to have, blanking on words all of a sudden, interactive maps where you can use the digital maps of the city. Like we've never been able to offer that before in the past. There's some other tools that I think are going to be very exciting for people to be able to use. More online fillable forms for permitting processes and things like that than we've offered in the past. And then over time, you'll start to see new tools like dashboards, data dashboards. You'll be able to that's going to be dependent on BSNA and some other tools that'll come online. And when we get to that point, you'll be able to pull up dashboards and see the live. If you want to know how much money has the electric department spent year to date, you'll be able to find that instantly as a citizen and kind of see what those numbers are, how those numbers change from day to day and how they compare to previous years, things like that. So we're really excited about all that stuff. And not all of those tools will be online on Friday,
but those things are all in the pipeline, and we very purposefully planned things out with our website provider to be able to implement those tools as the software pieces kind of come into place. So just be on the lookout for that, and we're excited for that. And then at the conclusion of tonight's meeting, I would ask if I can have each of you, especially because we have 2 new council members all at once, and we didn't take new portraits of council in April of this year, because at the time we had the same council members we had last year. If I can get really quick some photos, headshots of each of you, so that they will all match, and we can put you all on the new website on Friday with matching portraits. We will retake with a professional photographer. At some point, we'll schedule something with a professional photographer to get kind of official, where you guys are wearing your black and red ties and all that stuff. But this will hold us over, at least in the meantime. Sound good?
I wanted to thank Drew and Macy and Michaela for all the work they've been putting into that, and everybody else too, but all the work that they've put into the new website. They've been spending a lot of long hours on it, and really appreciate. I think it's going to be great. Anything else? Anything from council? Thursday is the Mayor's Challenge Blood Drive, where we will start our crushing seasonal defeat of Ozark. So if you have not yet signed up, you can go to cbco.org. There are still spots available. So I would really like to win for the 3rd year in a row. So if any of you have not signed up, please, or if your staff from the city, if anyone in your staff would like to give blood, it will be a great time. Lots of great gifts. And then the winning city, they will get a $500 donation to Least of These on behalf of the winning city. And that'll go towards the Can the Tigers event that raises money for Least of These throughout the Backyard Brawl season. So hope everyone will come out and give blood with me. They're gonna be here like 1 o'clock or something, so if you wanna come right after that. You can see me pass out as I go over to the... All right, anything else? Take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.